So hello everyone, I'm going to present a small presentation about basics of Ayurveda. So before knowing the basic of Ayurveda, you should know what does Ayurveda mean. So when we divide the word Ayurveda, it is Ayur and Veda. Now when we see Ayur means life and Veda means science. The science of life or the wisdom of life is called as Ayurveda. Now when we see the history of Ayurveda, when the people were living ages ago, when the people were living with the laws of nature, there were no disease, no sicknesses, nothing. But when they started moving away from the nature, that is when the disease and sickness started. In that time, all the rishis and saints, they started meditating at the caves of Himalaya to find out the cure or the reason or the solution for this problem. That is when they started meditating and downloaded, we can say, the knowledge of Ayurveda. And this knowledge of Ayurveda is about 5,000 years old. Now when we see, mostly people think that Ayurveda is nothing but Panchkarma, some herbs, but no. There are total 8 branches of Ayurveda. It takes care of general medicines, it also takes care of surgery department, eye, nose, ear related problem. Even it has field in pediatrics, that is child related problems. So in total there are 8 different branches of Ayurveda. Next, when we talk about the aim of Ayurveda, basically there are 2 aims which Ayurveda focus upon. First is preventing the health of the individual one, because prevention is much more better than the cure. So prevention means what can we say, that prevention, if you start preventing your health, then there is no disease, no sicknesses. So Ayurveda emphasizes on preventing the health of individual, and the second aim is curing the diseased one. So first is preventing, and if after preventing also if you're falling sick, then comes the cure. So these are the main 2 aims of Ayurveda. Along with that, it also emphasizes on improving the quality of life, eliminating the impurities, increasing the strength, and prolonged longevity. Next, when we talk about the definition of health, WHO says that the health is defined as the balanced state of physical, mental and social well-being. This is the WHO's definition, which has come like few years ago, but the same has been told ages ago. Ayurveda also emphasizes that there should be proper harmony between your body, mind and spirit. Then only it is called as health. Now there are many theories we see in Ayurveda. Among them, few famous ones are Panchadhatu Mahabhuta theory, second is Tridosha theory, and third is Saptadhatu theory. Now we'll talk about all this theory one by one. Now again, when we talk about health according to Ayurveda, Ayurveda says that dosha, dhatu, mala. It emphasizes on this 3 factor. Dosha should be balanced, dhatu should be balanced, and mala should be balanced. Then only it is called a health, or it is called a balanced person. Now what are these 3, we'll see in detail one by one. First, we'll talk about Panch Mahabhuta theory. Now Ayurveda believes that the entire universe is made up of the 5 elements. These 5 elements are space, air, fire, water and earth. Now Ayurveda says that entire universe is made up of this 5 elements. Even the trees we see, the stone, everything is made up of 5 elements, and even our body is made up of this 5 elements. Now here comes the next theory, that is called as Tridosha theory. So whichever element you're born with, that decides your Prakriti, and the Prakriti is decided during the time of conception itself, and it remains same throughout your life till the very end. Now what are these Prakritis? We'll talk about that in detail. In total, if we see, there are 7 Prakritis. One is Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and the combination of 2 and all 3 put together. We'll see in detail about this Prakriti one by one. First, we talk about Vata Prakriti. So the person who is born with more of space and air element, they form the Vata Prakriti. Vata Prakriti people, usually they are very lean. Throughout their life, they take so much supplement to increase weight, but no result. Their weight is always on the lower side. They take so much nutrition, they take so much supplements, they take so much of food, but no result. Always their weight is on the lower side. Secondly, their feet and hands and feet will always be cold. How much ever they try to cover it up, they make it warm, but no result again. It is always cold in nature. And they can be thin, they can be tall, they can be short. Another factor about Vata is they are very restless in nature and very uncertain. So they start something, they drop it. They start something and they drop it. They're not certain or constant with anything. Suppose if they start going to gym today, they'll go for 1 week and they'll say, okay, wow, gym is very good, you should go it, you should do it. But again, after 1 week, they'll drop it, they'll continue with some other thing. So like that, they take up the challenge, they drop it, they take up, they drop it. This is about Vata, like they're very restless also in nature. Another very good quality of Vata is they are very creative. So any creative idea, it comes from the Vata mind. They're very creative about anything. You give something, they will put their best in a most creative way you can't even imagine. Another factor is they're very talkative. They are very much talkative. They can't stop. When they start speaking, they can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And because of this skill, they are very good in networking. They are very good in communication skills. And you can put them in any kind of situation. They'll just gel up everywhere just because of their talking skill. But they're also very much prone of getting nervous and fear. They get frightened very easily and fear. You give them some big responsibility, the first thing that comes to them is anxiety and fear. This is about Vata personality. Now when we see the same Vata at body level, it has many functions. It takes care of your respiration, your breathing, that is because of Vata. It takes care of your motions in the sense locomotory motions. You're moving your hand, you're moving your feet, you're moving your head. That's all because of balanced Vata in your body. And it also takes care of your circulation and nervous system. The blood which is circulating in the body, the nerves which is responsible for stimulation, all that is controlled by Vata. Now what happens when this Vata gets imbalanced? When this Vata gets imbalanced, the first symptom what you notice is gas. Gas in the stomach, that is bloating in the stomach. The same gas leads to constipation also. Constipation is nothing but hard stools. Difficulty in passing stool, that is constipation. Any kind of pain in the body, joint pain, back pain, any kind of pain in the body, the main reason is Vata imbalance. Moreover that, insomnia, you're not able to sleep, you're not able to think properly, that is all because of Vata. Vata is the one which is responsible for taking care of your memory and thought. If there is too much of thoughts in the mind, restlessness in the mind, anxiety, fear, all this is because of imbalanced Vata. Now what are the reasons why this Vata gets imbalanced in our body? The main reason is because if we see the quality of Vata, it is usually dry and cold and rough. Similarly, the quality here in the climate is same. It is very dry, it is very cold. So naturally Vata tends to get imbalanced. Moreover that, if you take more of dry food, cold food or raw food, all this increases Vata in the body. Other than that, also if you're overexerting yourself, you should not work late in the night, but still you're doing that, you're exerting yourself, that increases Vata in the body. Very erratic sleep pattern, you go to bed very late, you get up very late, all this erratic sleep pattern also increases Vata in the body. Now how to balance this Vata? The very important factor for Vata people is find out the reason what is causing the imbalance and cut it down. If you're having Vata imbalance, make sure you're not taking raw food, and especially in the night time. And one more thing what you can do to make sure that Vata is not getting imbalance is oil massage. Because if we see the quality of oil, it is opposite to that of Vata. It is oily, it is warm. So make sure you're applying oil every day before taking shower, and that too specifically in your vertex region, in your earlobe and the base of the feet. These three areas specifically you should apply oil, and along with that all over the body, and the oil should be warm. And after that, rinse off the oil without using any soap. If you do this daily, your Vata will be balanced. Along with that, as I said, avoid raw food. Sleep in time, don't be awake till late night. and also try and eat more of warm food. All this will balances up the vata. Now we'll talk about pitta. Now pitta people, the person who is born more with fire and water element, that forms pitta prakriti. Pitta prakriti, they are very sharp, they are very intelligent, they are very focused. If you see them, the most intelligent people, they are pitta prakriti people. And they are very determined in nature. If they want to do something, come what may, they will do it. And if they don't want to do something, whatever you tell them, they will not do it. So that is pitta prakriti, very sharp, very intelligent. Along with that, they have this leadership quality in them. They like taking challenges, they like taking responsibilities, and that makes them a perfect leader. So if you see any in a group or something, if you put up any presentation or any work, they will be the first one to lead them. They will be the first one to come forward and take the responsibility for anything. And because of this perfectionist nature of theirs, what happens, they take up the responsibility, but because of being perfectionist, what they think that nobody can do this task better than me, so they overload themselves with work, and they are not able to finish it because they want it to be perfect, and they have already loaded them up with so much of responsibility. So in the end, what happens, there is too much of stress and tension created. And if we see, all this stress and tension is created for themselves. Nobody else has given them that stress and tension. They have created that for themselves. So this is about pitta. Along with that, they are very hot-headed, like very angry in nature. They don't keep anything inside. If they're angry, they'll blast it out there and there. And especially if you keep them hungry, they will just can eat you also. They can be hungry in every 2 to 3 hours. Now when we see pitta in the body in the balanced state, when the pitta is balanced in the body, it mainly takes care of your digestion. So any kind of digestion in the body, it's mainly because of pitta. It also takes care of your metabolism. It also takes care of your vision, your skin, your liver, your lungs. All this organ is functioning properly because of balanced pitta in the body. But what happens when this pitta gets imbalanced? First thing, acidity. Any kind of burning in the stomach, chest burning in the throat, all that is because of imbalanced pitta. Along with that, it also leads to sore throat. And when it comes up, it affects your vision. It leads to giddiness and skin related problems. And also any kind of hormonal imbalance in your body, it's because of pitta. Now why this pitta gets imbalanced? Mainly because pitta people, they don't, as I said, they are very responsible person, they need perfectionist, so they tend to avoid taking food on time or water on time. They don't take sufficient water. That is the main reason, because their calculation come in there, that if I drink water now, then I have to go to washroom, so they avoid taking water. That is the one of the main reason why pitta gets imbalanced in pitta people. Another thing, when they skip their meal, and when they take a lot of hot and spicy food, that is the main reason why pitta gets imbalanced in our body. And also irregular time pattern. So to balance pitta, what one should do, that you should try and take water, that too 2.5 to 3 liters of water every day, and that to sit, relax, and then have water sip by sip. Don't gulp it all of a sudden. Finish the water sip by sip. That is how a pitta people should drink water, and quantity is 2 to 3 liters of water per day. Along with that, eat properly, eat on time, eat when you're hungry. Don't skip your meals, and manage between your work and sleep. Don't be awake all night working or thinking that I need to work. No, that is not how this is work. You need to rest properly and work properly. You need to balance this both. But this is about how to balance pitta. And next, going on to kapha. Now kapha, when the people is born more with water and earth quality, they form kapha prakriti. Kapha prakriti people, they are usually, very happy-go-lucky. They're always cool, always smiling, always happy. And their smile is so infectious that looking at them, even we feel like laughing. That is about Kapha personality. And along with that, they're always overweight. One thing is, Kapha people are always overweight because they are very much kind of lazy in nature. That makes them even more healthy in nature. Another thing is, they are very lazy. So if we see Kapha people, they just sit in a sofa and they will make sure that everything is there near to them. Their food is there, their water is there, blanket is there, pillow is there, mobile is there, and so that they don't have to go and get the things again and again. They keep everything in accessible area where they just have to stretch their hand and everything will be available. So they are that lazy. Along with that, they are very attached to things. Like they can't throw anything out. They just keep collecting the things. Even if they don't need them, they just keep collecting. They can't throw anything out. And they're attached to food also. They are so foodie, they can eat and eat and eat. They don't know what is called fullness or stop. If they're sitting on the table, they think it's their duty to finish everything which is present on the table. And they can't stop. And whenever you see any Kapha people, they'll be munching some or the other thing. But along with that, they have very good memory also. But again, because of their attachment, they sometimes can become greedy too. So this is about Kapha people. Now when we talk about all this personality, Kapha is the one which is, as I said, which is very lazy. So they never finish their task on time. So if we give any task to Kapha people, Vata person, and the Vata person will, the moment they take the task, they'll be always restless. Okay, I have to do the task, I have to do the task, I have to do the task. They'll be always restless, and somehow they'll manage to finish. When we give any task to Pitta person, they will be very much organized. They'll make sure, they'll fix the timing also. Today I'll work for 2 hours in this task, tomorrow 2 hours, third day 2 hours, and the fourth day it will be finished in a most perfect way. When we give same task to Kapha person, because of their laziness or their dullness, if tomorrow is the deadline, today night they might start working on the task. This is how Kapha people are. Now what happens when this Kapha is in balanced state in the body? Balanced Kapha, mostly it gives stability in our body. It gives strength in our body. Any kind of fluid in the body, it's been balanced by Kapha. And along with that, the firmness in the joint, it's mainly because of Kapha. What happens when this Kapha gets imbalanced? Mainly one thing is any kind of mucus growth in the body. It's mainly because of imbalanced Kapha. It could be in the lungs, it could be in the intestine. Another thing is itching. Itching is the main symptom of Kapha. So if we see Vata, the main symptom is pain. Any kind of pain, it's because of Vata. If we see Pitta, burning, any kind of burning, that is because of Pitta. And if we see Kapha, any kind of itching in the body, that is because of Kapha imbalance. Along with that, imbalanced Kapha can lead to heaviness in the body. It can also lead to extra growth. Any kind of growth in the body, that is mainly because of Kapha, which includes any kind of cyst or tumor or even weight gain. That is also a growth. That is also because of imbalanced Kapha. Now why this Kapha goes imbalanced? Mainly when you take a lot of sweet food, that is pastry, cakes, sweets, all this increases Kapha. Along with that, heavy food. Heavy food by I mean too much of fat contained or too much of meat, all this increases Kapha. Along with that, overeating. When you eat too much. Usually if we see mother, when the child finish their food and still it's left in their plate, they will just finish it off. That also comes under overeating. And less physical activity. That is one main reason why Kapha gets imbalanced. Now how to balance this? Now Kapha people, one thing they should do is activity. They should do and they must do 45 minimum minutes of activity every day. Along with that, they should balance their diet. They should not eat too much and they should balance it properly. So if the Kapha imbalance is there, just do some physical activity and eat in a balanced diet. That will take care of Kapha. Now, as I told, these are 3 different Prakritis, and along with that, combination of 2 makes another 3, and all 3 together 7. So these are 7 different prakritis. Next we'll talk about how this Vata, Pitta and Kapha forms the different body type. Now when we see the body type, Vata people are usually thin, Pitta are medium, and Kapha are always a little obese in the weight. Now when we see the hair, usually the Kapha people's hair will be dark, it can be curly, it will be brittle, it will be thin. Pitta people's, it will be moderate, it will be mainly oily or black in color or blonde in color, any color variation, it's because of Pitta. Kapha people, if we see, they have very thick, strong, oily hair. Now coming to skin, Vata people usually they have dry, thin skin, that scaly lesions, all that comes in Vata people. When we come to Pitta skin is usually oily, it is smooth and red. It's always reddish in nature. And when we see Kapha, it is thick, cool in nature. Now when we talk about the nails, Pitta, a Vata person's nail is brittle. They have ridges in the nail. It is very brittle in nature. They break very easily. Pitta, it is reddish in nature, and it is moderately thick. Kapha, when we see, it is always thick and cool and very strong. Now when we talk about the eyes, Vata people usually have small and sunken eyes, dry eyes. It could be black or brown in color. And when we talk about Pitta, they have sharp, bright eyes with sensitivity to light. And if we see the sclera of the Pitta people, it will be always reddish or yellow tinge in them. When we talk about Kapha people's eyes, it is always whitish. The sclera will be completely white and clear, very much large, loving and calm eyes. Next, the nose. Vata people have uneven nose. Kapha have long and pointed, and Pitta have long and pointed, and Kapha has short and round. Lips, if we see Vata people, it's usually dry and cracked. Pitta, it is reddish and it gets inflamed very easily. Kapha, it is smooth, oily and whitish. Teeth, if we see, Vata has large, protruding, thin gums. Pitta has medium, sensitive gums. Kapha has wide and strong gums. Chin, usually Vata people has thin chin. Pitta people have sharp and medium and rounded. Kapha people have double chin because they are usually obese on nature, so they have double chin. Cheeks, if we see, Vata have sunken, Pitta has smooth, and Kapha has round and plumpy cheeks. Neck, if we see, Vata has tall and thin neck, Pitta has medium, and Kapha has large. Chest, Vata has sunken and flat, Pitta has medium, Kapha has round and large. Belly, Vata has flat and sunken belly, Pitta has medium, and Kapha usually have pot belly or large belly. Hips, if we see, again, Vata has narrow and thin, Pitta has medium, and Kapha has large and heavy. Joints, if we see, Vata people usually they have cold and cracking joint. Whenever they move their joint, there will be cut sound coming in them. Pitta have medium, and Kapha usually have strong. You can't see their joints. It is well covered by ligament and muscles. So they have very strong and firm joints. When we see the appetite, Vata people usually they have irregular appetite. They can be hungry, like if they eat in the morning, they can survive till evening. They don't need food. And sometimes they are hungry too much, sometimes they are hungry very less. So it's very irregular. Pitta people, they're always hungry. In every 2 or 3 hours, they need something to eat. And their hunger is also strong. And Kapha people, as I said, they don't understand between the hunger, so you can give them food, they can eat anytime. So it is very slow and steady kind of a hunger they have. Now coming to digestion, again for Vata, it is very irregular. Sometimes they have good digestion, sometimes they have bad digestion. Pitta, they have very quick and very good digestion. And again Kapha, they have very prolonged digestion because they keep on eating. Next, about the taste, which is good for Vata, it's sweet, sour and salty. For Pitta, it is sweet, bitter and astringent. For Kapha, it is pungent, astringent and bitter. Now about thirst, again for Vata it is very much variable. For Pitta it is plenty, but they don't drink water, so they should drink water. For Kapha again it is sparse, it's usually on the lower side. Elimination, if we see, usually Vata people are more tend to get constipation because of their irregular diet pattern and water intake. Pitta people, they have mostly loose kind of a stool, and Kapha people, they have sluggish and oily stool. Now about the sex drive, Vata has intense and steady, Pitta has variable, and Kapha has moderate. Physical activity, Vata are hyperactive, very restless in nature. They are jumping, jumping, and jumping. They cannot sit in one place. Coming to Pitta, they usually should work in moderate. If they do overwork or overexert themselves, that leads to imbalance. Now Kapha, they usually are very sedentary. They don't do much of activity. Coming to mental activity, Vata are very quick and very uncertain kind of person, but very creative. Pitta, they are moderate, and Kapha, they are slow and dull. Emotion wise, if we talk, Vata is more prone for fear and uncertainty. Pitta is more anger, jealousy, and determination, and competitive nature they have. Kapha, when we talk, they are very much attached, which can lead into greed, and usually they are calm. Faith, if we see, for Vata it is variable, it keep on changing. For Pitta it is intense and extreme. For Kapha it is deep and consistent. Financially, if we speak, Vata spends on trivial item, Pitta spends on luxuries, and Kapha spends on assets. Kapha usually preserves assets. As I said, they can't throw anything out, they just keep on preserving things and collecting things. Intellect wise, Kapha are quick and Pitta are accurate, and Vata are quick, Pitta are accurate, and Kapha are slow and precise. Recollection wise, Vata has a good short time memory, Pitta has this thing, and Kapha has good memory. Sleep, when we talk, Vata has irregular sleep and they are more prone for getting insomnia or sleep problems. And also when we see, when the Vata person sleeps, their half eyes will be open. Pitta, they have little but very sound sleep. Kapha, they usually sleep for a long time, which is not good, but they get deep sleep. Speech wise, Vata is very quick, they speak very fast, and sometimes it's very unclear. Pitta has very sharp and penetrating, they don't speak a word extra. And Kapha, they are very slow, even they speak very slowly and very slow tone. So this is about Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Now what is the importance of knowing Prakriti? So when you know your Prakriti, you will get to know, okay, what kind of food is good for you, what kind of food is not good for you, what kind of daily activity you should do and how much you should do, and which all diseases you're prone to. So you can know all this just by knowing your Prakriti. So that's why you should know your Prakriti. Now we'll discuss about Saptadhatu theory. In Saptadhatu theory, there are 7 tissues in our body which forms our body. How this is formed and how this is nourished, we'll discuss about that. So whatever food you take, it is getting digested with the help of Vata, Pitta and Kapha. And same Vata, Pitta and Kapha divides food into 2 parts. One is the good part, which is converted into this tissue, and second is the waste product, which is getting eliminated from the body. So we'll focus on the good part. So once the food is digested, and it circulates in the body and nourishes tissue one by one. First it nourishes plasma, then from plasma blood, from blood to muscle, from muscle to adipose tissue, from adipose tissue to bone, from bone to bone marrow, and last the reproductive fluids, that is sperm and ovum. So all this process take 1 month. So whatever food you take, it gets converted into all this tissue in a time of 1 month. Now what happens when these tissues are balanced? Okay, but any imbalance in the formation of this tissue will lead to problem related that particular tissue. For example, if the bone is not getting properly nourished, then you'll have bone related problems. So that's why even the 7 tissues should be maintained and balanced properly. And the main thing for that is eating a good quantity of food and balancing Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Next we'll discuss about malas. As I said, the good part and the waste product. Now the waste product includes 3 things. Main is feces, urine and sweat. Now these 3 also should be balanced properly. When we talk about feces, if you're having proper feces, proper defecation, that's okay. But if you're having dry stool, that is constipation, that says that okay, something is going wrong in the system. Along with that, if you're having loose motion, that also indicates that system is not working properly. So even feces should be balanced. Not only that, even in the urination, too much of urine, too less urine, or any different color in the urine indicates that something is going wrong. Even with the sweat, too much of sweat or too less of sweating or odor in the sweat indicates that something is going wrong. So even these 3 should be balanced, and you can observe this and you can judge yourself, okay, something is going wrong. So make sure along with your 3 doshas, that is Vata, Pitta and Kapha, and along with your 7 dhatus, that is 7 tissues, these 3 malas are also balanced. Next we'll talk about how the disease manifests in our body. Usually in Ayurveda say there are 6 stages in how the disease gets manifested. Here the Agni plays a very important role. So what happens, whatever you eat, it is getting digested by the Agni, digestive fire. We can correlate this digestive fire to the gastric juices or gastric enzymes, which is responsible for digestion and transformation of the food. So mainly this digestive fire, it converts the gross nutrient into the micronutrient which get absorbed in our body. So when you take some food, for example, if you take meat, especially the red meat, it takes 72 hours for digestion. So when you take that, automatically the digestive fire starts working on digesting that. But before it gets digested, next day you're again taking the meat, then again taking the meat. So what happens? This overload in the digestion leads to fermentation in the food, and that fermentation releases toxins in the body. So this is how the first stage, accumulation of the toxin, starts in the body. Second, if you don't control now, again the aggravation of this toxin starts in the body. It will start aggravating in the stomach itself. Third, it will start spreading in the body. Till second stage, it was there only in the stomach. From the third stage, it will start circulating. It will move in the arms, in the legs, in the neck, everywhere. In the fourth stage, they will find the weak area in the body and they will go and get localized there. So that time you can say, okay, I have knee pain, I have joint pain. Till 4 stages, you can actually reverse the process only by observing the signs and symptoms. But if reaches the 5th stage, where it reaches to where you can actually tell, okay, you have arthritis, you have rheumatoid arthritis, you have osteoarthritis. That is when you need other supplements and medication, all that. And when it reaches to the 5th stage, chronicity, if you still avoid the symptom till 5th stages, it reaches to chronic state where it is difficult to even treat the disease. So when we see the Ayurvedic approach to all this disease, till 4th stage you can just take care of yourself by just doing some small changes in the food, in the diet and routine. And when it comes to 5th stage, Ayurveda says that okay, you need to take some herbs or some kind of detox. So this is how Ayurveda approaches to the treatment. It mainly manages with healthy diet, lifestyle, some breathing exercise and meditation. And if the disease or the problem is not getting controlled by this, then they advise for some herbal supplement. And even if that it is not working, then they advise some detoxifying therapies, that is Panchkarma therapies. Now mainly there are 4 sources of energy. How you can maintain yourself by using this just 4 sources of energy, that is food, sleep, breathing exercises and meditative mind. How you can adopt all this in your daily routine is by you following some basic principles of Ayurveda. Now ideal routine, if we see in the morning, we should try and get up before 6 a.m. in the morning, because that is the time when mind will be very alert, very sharp, and that time when you practice some yoga and meditation, it will give you very good benefit. So start with your day getting up early in the morning, preferably before 6 a.m. Then you can evacuate your bowel and bladder, then brush your teeth, and then don't forget to scrape your tongue. Now when you scrape your tongue, usually what happens, one, the dirt in the mouth gets clean, it enhances your taste. Along with that, it stimulates the internal organs slightly. And after that, you can even hold the oil in the mouth. That could be sesame oil or coconut oil. Just hold the oil in your mouth for few seconds and then spit it out. By doing this, what happens? Your entire jaw gets strengthened. Again, it removes the impurity from the tongue. It enhances the taste. Now, after evacuating bowel, brushing your teeth, next step comes application of oil. Every day, make a point of applying oil before taking shower. Leave it for 10 minutes and then have hot water shower. And you can use chickpea flour for removing the oil. Next, after finishing your shower, you can do mild exercises like sun salutation, breathing exercises, yoga, all this. After that, get ready for your office, have light breakfast, and continue with your daily work. Now in afternoon you should try and have warm cooked meals, because afternoon is the time when the sun will be at its peak and even the digestive fire in your body will be strong. So whatever you eat during this time gets digested very fast. So the big meal of the day can be your lunch, and make sure you include all 6 tastes, that is sweet, sour, salty, astringent, pungent and bitter, in your diet. And after finishing your meal, you can rest for 10 minutes on the left side of your body, or you can sit in Vajrasana. And after that, carry on with your day-to-day work, and evening again you can do some yoga or meditation. Now in the evening, after coming back from the work, you can have your light meal, very light meal, and make sure there is 2 hours of gap between your dinner and your sleep. And by light, I mean some kind of soup or boiled vegetables, all this you can have. And it's a very good habit of going to bed earliest by 10 p.m. Now, general fundamentals about healthy eating. What you should eat and what you should avoid. Usually you should try and have mainly fresh and warm cooked food, and you should always try to take a wide variety of food. Don't just take fruits or vegetables. You should include everything: fruits, vegetables, grains, pulses, spices, everything should be there in your diet. And avoid eating food which is reheated again and again. That kind of food you should avoid taking. Mainly you should avoid taking preservative added food, frozen food, or any kind of genetically engineered food, and food which is, as I already told, food which is kept in the refrigerator, you reheat again and take. That is a very bad habit. When you do such thing, all the toxins in the body starts building up and accumulates in the channel and blocks the channel. So strictly avoid reheating the food and taking the refrigerated food. Always try and take fresh seasonal fruit and ripe fruits. Now when we talk about different diagnostic skills in Ayurveda, one among them which is very famous is Nadi Pariksha, where the doctor just touches the pulse and tell you what is the imbalance going on in your body. And by that you can just balance your body and correct those imbalance. Usually this techniques was adopted thousands and thousands of years ago, wherein there was no X-ray or MRI machines. The doctors just used to check the pulse and used to tell the diagnosis. Now the main purpose of this presentation is to make you aware about your body so that you can treat them yourself, and you'll be aware about what is the upcoming sicknesses you can get and you can prevent yourself from that. Usually what happens when we go to doctor, we tell our symptoms like, okay, I have headache, I have digestion, I have indigestion, I have fever. Doctor gives some pills and you get rid of that symptoms. But what is the main reason? Why did you get the headache? Why did you get the fever? We always forget that part. So Ayurveda helps you knowing that factor just by, when you balance all this Vata, Pitta and Kapha, there will be no such sicknesses or complaints. So the main motto or the main aim of this presentation was to make you aware about your own body. Thank you.